Okay, point. Star, you ready? Point.
Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go, boys.
That's up in the air. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh my god. What the?
How are you alive?
Holy Bastion.
That was disgusting.
Is the second Omnic Crisis finally over? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Stylosa and this is Unit Lost. Welcome to the channel. So this is my Season 4 competitive stats right now. I've played 30 games. So I played 10 placement games in which I basically played Bastion in all of those games, and the enemy basically had a Bastion in all of those games. However, yesterday I played 20 games and in only 2 of those games was there a Bastion. I mean, if that is not a massive change, I don't know what is. So, what the hell have they done to Bastion? Well, all they've done is, it was kind of simple really. Bastion had a 35% damage reduction when in Sentry and Tank mode. Now, it's got a 20% damage reduction, so that's all they've done. This seems to have been enough to just completely remove Bastion from the game again, which is... maybe that's an issue as well, because we know the reason they buffed Bastion is because they wanted him back into the game, but we are literally not seeing him at all, and these are in games which are High Master and Grandmaster level games that I've been playing in. The game that you're seeing in the background here is the Ana game, and we will get onto the Hanamura game next, which was the other game where there was a Bastion. But you'll notice like how the Bastion is just not an instant win like it was before, which is exactly what it was. I mean, it was an instant win against a team that didn't have a Bastion, if you had one on your team. If the enemy had one and you didn't have one, well, it's going to be difficult. Well, you can see here, we don't have a Bastion, and I can tell you now, a bit of a spoiler, but we're about to do fine. So, let's talk about this, and let's talk about it why this, you know, really this is a monumental thing when it comes to Overwatch, because the game was broke. Now, I didn't want to jump out of the gate and go and jump the gun effectively and say, all right, Bastion's, he's broke, right? This is a disgrace. Oh my God, the game's a mess. Everybody was saying that, right? Bastion was powerful. Don't get me wrong. And I was looking at it thinking, okay, there must be a ways around this. There's always ways around it, right? Don't just jump the gun. Don't just say, oh, this is going to be a problem. You know, I've done this before in the past. I've said, oh, maybe Reinhardt's going to drop out of the meta now because Soldier was buffed. I mean, that was stupid of me to say. That was jumping the gun. I've learned from my mistakes. That's why I didn't want to just jump straight out the gate and go, oh, this Bastion change, it's just OP as hell. I felt like it was powerful. Calling something OP is a completely different kettle of fish. Anyway, I thought it was powerful. The change went live. Now we've got to ask ourselves, why the hell did this change go live in the first place if it broke the game in such a way as it did? Or the developers obviously realised there was no effective counter to this other than taking another Bastion and building a team around that Bastion, which is obviously a bit mad. It's the PTR. The PTR is a major problem, I think, with Overwatch. When you go onto the PTR to test changes with any hero, even if like you want to test the latest hero out, Orisa for example, that's the whole reason you're on the PTR. If you don't get to pick the new hero, if you don't get to pick the hero that's changed, often you just leave the game, or you just think, oh well, whatever, I'll just play any hero, I'll just play Hanzo, I've never played him before, whatever. So what if we've got 6 DPS? It's cool, it's fine. So it's very difficult to test on the PTR, like extremely difficult. We can't really blame the devs for that much. We can in a way, because they need to give us an incentive to play on the PTR. The thing is, you want players playing on live, don't you? You don't want players playing on the PTR, but you also want players playing on the PTR to test what the hell is going on. So we got this situation which sort of unfolded where we had these changes to Bastion. People who were very vocal, and people on the forums and in other chat groups and whatever were going, oh my God, this is a bit powerful. I made a video and showed you how powerful Bastion was. However, I made a point of saying, look guys, in this video, yeah, he's powerful, but you've got to remember, it's PTR, so it's kind of like quick play in a way. The team compositions are crazy. Things can look really, really powerful because the enemy are not properly countering you, or, you know, with their hero selections or stuff like that. It's PTR, right? But that's a problem. It's PTR. I shouldn't be saying that. The PTR should be a place where these tests can be done. Now, the devs obviously test all of this stuff internally before they give it to us, or at least that's what I think they do. However, with the Bastion change, you can kind of see what happened. They didn't have enough data from the PTR, right? Maybe their statistics that they collect, which we will never be able to see, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, those internal developer statistics, they have those, and they thought, all right, Bastion actually is getting picked more, you know, he's doing better, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you could, like a layman could say, look, Bastion's going to get picked more, obviously, because he's been changed, people are going to try him on the PTR. I don't think Blizzard look at it that simplistic, but that's just like a very simple example that I could kind of give you guys. So, they don't have enough information, really, so they just put it to live, because that's the only way you can test this stuff. goes onto the live servers, and suddenly everybody is playing Bastion. Bastion's in every game. He does an incredible amount of damage. Teams are built around him. He's just destroying people. There was the clip of me where I'm just sitting in Lijiang Tower on the garden map with a primal raged Winston attacking me, with a Pharah ulting me, and I'm sitting there with Bastion in sentry mode. I was nano boosted and I did have sound barrier on me, so it's like I had a lot of protection, and I'm just firing through them like it doesn't even matter. I kill the Pharah as she's ulting me, and then I shoot at the... It's just... that was insane. Well, a lot of that stuff was going on. Bastion became the best DPS. Like, he was better than Soldier. He was better than literally anybody else. So you would just take a Bastion because, well, you didn't care, right? Let's just take the Bastion. Let's go with it. It was very powerful. Then we had the post off Jeff where Jeff says, look, I've played a little bit of Bastion over the weekend, basically. This is what it sounded like. I think he's a bit powerful. We'll sort something out. And then they sort something out really quick. But is that unprofessional? Right, because what we've got here is them saying, we've changed Bastion on the PTR. We think he's okay. We're just going to set him live. Because I believe they didn't have enough information. They didn't know how he was actually going to sort of work in the hands of proper players when players are playing to win. Suddenly it goes live, everybody uses Bastion, it's abused, it's all over the place, and there's a lot of negativity, because there was a lot of negativity. Like, loads of people were going crazy. Even big names in the community were getting really, like, you know, aggressive towards Blizzard in a way. It was like, this is just the worst thing ever. And then Blizzard change it, and they change it instantly. They put these changes on the PTR when Orisa launched, but then they literally updated the game straight away anyway with the changes to Bastion. So Bastion got fixed in a way really quick. But is Bastion actually fixed? Because Bastion has kind of gone back to where he was, and that was a really bad earth shatter. He's gone back to where he was. He's just like, he's not being picked anymore, apart from very specific situations. And when he is being picked, he seems easy enough to counter, which, is that a problem for Bastion? What are they going to do for Bastion now? Are they going to be happy with Bastion's pick rate? Because I presume they're going to go back and they're going to look at what's going on with Bastion now and think to themselves, all right, is Bastion actually okay? What do we need to do to him? How do we fix him? I mean, that's a question that maybe you guys could try and answer. How do you fix Bastion? Bastion is in a very interesting or awkward place where he's very powerful stationary DPS, but if he can't set up and if he can't be worked around, then why would you take Bastion? And also Bastion, his whole character design is sort of inducive to picking a team that's built around him, going for the old El Presidente build, which again is kind of another problem with Bastion if you can just sit up around him with loads of barriers and stuff. Alright, let's get on to the next interesting thing, talking about barriers, ladies and gentlemen, as you watch this beautiful gameplay in the background. So, Orisa. This is an interesting one, right? Orisa is fairly close to launch. I expect we'll get Orisa not this week, but maybe next week, or maybe the week after that. Typically, new heroes are on the PTR for 2 weeks before they go live. So, what does that mean? Well, it means that Orisa works quite well with Bastion. So is that going to bring Bastion back into the game? You may have heard me go on about the bongo bunker. Well, you don't even need the bongo. If you drop the bunker down, which is a shield, Bastion can just sit inside that. And it's almost like you've got Bastion from the early days. Bastion from the very early closed beta days where he actually had a shield in front of him. And that was disgusting, ladies and gentlemen, I'll have you know. So if you can put a 900 HP shield in front of Bastion, and Bastion's also got damage reduction on himself, does that suddenly mean he's back in the meta and he's in his little kind of bunker just blasting away at people if Orisa is selected? Well, yes, I think that's going to make him more effective. But my thing is, what if, well, Orisa's going to be with him. This is what I'm trying to get at here. Orisa and Bastion together is actually quite a lot of damage, and especially when they're protected. And she can kind of protect him really well with that barrier. So we might see Bastion sort of coming back into the game a little bit when Orisa is launched. The whole Bastion issue, though, it's a very interesting sort of like mini saga that's hit Overwatch over the last week or so, where we've had rapid reaction off the devs to fix an issue which could have caused a massive problem with the game. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't play competitive, and I know a lot of you guys do play competitive, but the way Overwatch is balanced is it trickles down from the highest tiers of play. So when they look at competitive, they're going to balance the game around that. They're not going to balance it around quick play, or they're not going to, well, I mean, I guess you could say quick play is kind of like competitive anyway, but they're not going to balance it around other game modes. It has to be balanced around competitive. So that means they have to sort of keep that, well, this is wrong, like they don't have to keep that community happy, but if something happens and Blizzard are aware of it happening and they know it's having a negative impact on the game, then they need to react to fix that, and they reacted really, really fast. And this is bright for the game's future, because this means if anything like this happens again, now we could argue things like this have happened before in the past. Ana was really powerful. Genji was really powerful. All of these heroes have been toned down over time, but it did take time for that to happen. Bastion, however, was a really rapid change. It was, look, this is broke, guys. We've got to fix it. We can see there's negativity, and this is just going to keep spreading. It's going to damage the game. I mean, I jumped onto a couple of the top streamers, and while I was watching those guys stream, they were like, I'm not playing this game anymore. It's just like Battle of the Bastions, Bastion Watch, you know, I'm not playing this game. It's the worst. And it wasn't that fun, really, was it? Now it's much better because we're going back to a more varied game style. And I think the best this game has ever been was at the end of Season 3, where pretty much any kind of team comp was viable. And honestly, I'm really excited for the future with Orisa, because I think Orisa is going to open a lot of different doors, especially with Orisa and Reinhardt play, because I think that brings Junkrat back into the game, which I think is awesome, because Junkrat is my favourite character. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in Stylosa and this is Unit Lost, and we really have to praise Blizzard for what they've done here, because they fixed the game when it was broke, and that is fantastic, and they fixed it quick. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Stylosa and this is Unit Lost, and I do believe the second Omnic Crisis is over for now, and Bastion isn't as powerful as he was, although I still think we'll see him a little bit, but not as much as every single game. As I say, I played 20 games and only seen him twice, so maybe the future is bright. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Stylosa and this is Unit Lost. If you enjoyed the video, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you on the next one. And don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I'll catch you next time, guys. Toodaloo.